Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gen Z Sanctum. I'm here finally with the second host, Nathan Langford. Tell the podcast hello.
I am here.
He is finally here for an official recording of the podcast. We've got the best quality recording you can get in America right now. Of course, I'm joking, but it sounds much better now that we've edited it to sound better with noise suppression and gain at the right place and everything. So, Nathan, introduce yourself a little to the podcast.
I am a human being that lives on this earth.
Yes, as you can tell, Nathan Langford is our comic relief for this podcast. Um,
Why wouldn't I be? What else am I supposed
that
to do?
that is a good point. But essentially, this is a test to see how this new recording style works. If the conversion from video to audio makes it lose any quality at all, and then when it uploads, will it suck or will it not? Essentially, that's what. Yeah. So, for serious now this time, Nathan, tell them a little bit about why you wanted to do this podcast with me. Was it just pure boredom, or like what motivated you to do this with me?
It was partly because you had put up, hey, do you guys want us to do a podcast? And most of it was yes, and I didn't have a choice, so here we are.
Wow, this makes it sound like I forced you into it. Um, that, ladies and gentlemen,
The truth
is
is coming out.
hey
Oh
yo,
boy.
whoa. For real though, ladies and gentlemen, we had this idea several years ago, but we didn't exactly have a way to do it until now. So now that we have a way to do it, we're gonna try doing it, and if it sucks, frick you all. Essentially, if the views are like one or zero, like people don't care about it, then frick you all, will stop recording. But for now, this is just a try.
We're gonna see how this stuff goes, and then if not, it's just like, oh, boo hoo.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, but Nathan has a full-time job. I'm eventually gonna get a full-time job. So if this sucks and fails, we can whatever, move on with life and get paid. So yeah, if it does fail, um, forget everything that I'm saying right now. So yeah, essentially how we want these podcast episodes to go is either
Simplicity.
true. We're gonna be talking about some different topic in a way that you guys can understand. And
Oh boy, that's going to be interesting.
with a comedic twist, and that comedic twist is Nathan.
Yes,
So,
because I
like,
am a twist.
yes, very much so. So, let's pick a topic. What do you think, Nathan?
Your mom.
Um, Nathan. This is a professional podcast. We're trying to get people to actually be interested in the podcast.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I know it's surprising, but yeah, no. Um, what topic do you think we should pick? Like something that we like
Cool.
hobbies, or like a world event or something. What do you think?
World event like 9/11.
I mean, we could talk about 9/11, but may not necessarily be the best thing to talk about like 3 episodes in, because we would might get canceled.
I
For
mean, it was an event.
that is true. Um, what about this, Nathan? Have you heard of the man, the myth, the legend named Andrew Tate?
Let me see.
Nathan's very bored with this already.
Um, yes, I have. Who hasn't?
So, I don't know if you know this, but he's in prison currently in Romania, and for human trafficking, which very interesting. What have you heard? Like
Actually,
what he says, what he does?
well, all I know is that he's really rich, and I actually was unaware he was in jail.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Tate and his brother, Tristan Tate, essentially got arrested in Romania on a human trafficking charge, which is a pretty serious charge. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure whether that is in fact true, but for now, let's go with American justice and say innocent until proven guilty. So, do you know what he does or what he's famous for?
Boxing. That's what I've heard.
Yes, he was a world kickboxer, and among other things, he was also, I suppose, you could call him a motivational speaker per se. The difference is that he has said some things that made him not very popular with the ladies, so to speak.
Well, yeah,
So, for
gather
instance,
that.
he well, they've said quote unquote misogynistic, um, some different. He basically said like something along the lines of like women should be in the kitchen, those kinds of stupid things.
Hmm.
And so you can see why people wouldn't like him, but he somehow still was famous essentially for being, a motivational speaker, a stan, if you will. And but now he seems to be in prison for human trafficking for I don't know the exact details. I believe he was having a party at his house in Romania and somebody called because there were some ladies at his house that were saying essentially like they weren't allowed to leave or whatever, which that's, not the fact of not having a lot of details already makes this kind of suspicious.
Uh-huh.
The fact that like the Romanian government have been holding him for more than 30 days now, and they haven't released any. They haven't even charged him yet. They just arrested him, put him in prison. Haven't even brought up charges officially against him. But that's
Wow.
supposedly what he's in prison for. Supposedly, and
What if he's just in prison for nothing?
that is a good question. Like, what if he was smart enough that he said something that was true, but so true that the government in Romania hated him for it, and so they just want to get rid of him. Now, granted, I haven't listened to what Andrew Tate has said for a while now. It's been some time since I listened to what he's said, but he's essentially been quiet. He got arrested, um, and then he hasn't had access to Twitter or anything. So pretty much the only thing we've heard of from him is via his lawyers, who
Yeah.
have essentially said the Romanian government has no evidence against him. You need to like tell them that he to release him, and so there's sort of um, the trend going around called Free Top G, because that's apparently what he was called, Top G. And yeah, so that's
Interesting.
yeah, I know, very interesting. So, do you know what human trafficking is essentially?
I don't actually.
Okay, so human trafficking is essentially where you traffic with humans. I know now that might sound like a stupid
That
answer.
really doesn't. That really doesn't make any sense.
So, you know what slavery is, obviously.
Yeah.
So, essentially, the modern version of slavery is called human trafficking, where you essentially force or coerce a person into leaving where they currently are and going to somewhere else either to do something for you, like work for you, do some maybe sexual favors or whatever, or like for the promise of like being in a better land, bringing them to the United States or wherever, with the promise that they will live a better life. When in fact you just want them to work in your factory or do something for you personally, is essentially what human trafficking is.
That seems a little suspicious coming from him, though.
Like yeah, because he's really cool. He likes people. He's rich and he doesn't even have a factory as far as I know. And so to suddenly be arrested for human trafficking seems off to me.
Yeah,
So I don't know how this will end, but he's been real quiet since he got put in prison. And
yeah.
I suppose the ultimate question would be, do you support him knowing as much as I've told you so far?
I mean, I personally do because he really only states facts, and if people are trying to arrest him for something that he did that's actually true, but they don't like it, that's just stupid.
That is true. Like, the truth is the truth. Like, it doesn't have to conform to your social or political beliefs, but
All right, if you will give me a second, I have to screw. Okay, we're good. We can keep going.
so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Nathan is a bit of a, shall we say, um, no, um,
Excuse
no,
me.
you didn't hear me
I'm
say
a
it.
perfect normal human being.
But anyway, no, yeah, I would definitely support Andrew Tate. Um, the question is, will because this seems awful familiar to me. You remember Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, that whole thing that went down.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So this seems awfully familiar to me. Somebody very famous and a very good person gets arrested or whatever for something that somebody annoying claimed that they did, and so far no evidence has been brought against him that actually can be proven as of right now. So this
Yeah.
let us hope that for now, what will happen is that, like with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, the good person will end up winning, and the bad person will end up losing, and we can move forward and say, haha, he beat you essentially, and we can now move forward
Yep. Just be done with it.
because we need motivational people in our lives, especially in today's world, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Russia invading Ukraine, that whole BS stuff that's going on right now.
Yep.
Although,
Still going on.
still going on, it's been a year into this quote unquote special military operation, which.
Uh-huh. Yes. Special military non-operation.
So, you're right about that. But this also seems familiar. People, like, remember the pandemic? It's been over 3 years now. And remember, it was originally a 2 week lockdown, quote unquote.
Uh-huh.
Originally, they just said, "Oh, this isn't going to be that bad. It's just going to be 2 weeks. We'll go back to normal
Just
life."
stay in your home 2 weeks. We just need to figure stuff out.
What they apparently were figuring
Two
out
weeks turned
is,
into a month, turned into 4 months, turned into a year plus.
yeah, and everyone's school was messed up big time because this
Oh
was
yeah.
the middle of high school for me. Like, I was junior, senior year when all this was going on.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. Now,
It
obviously,
was junior year when it started
that's
because
true. Yeah.
people graduating in 2020 had to really deal with COVID.
You're telling me. I mean, like, people say, oh, like graduation, you get a graduation ceremony, you get a graduation party. None of that. You couldn't do any of that. You had to essentially get cards sent to you in the mail and you saw nobody for like the first month or longer.
Yep.
Um, so, Nathan, let me ask your opinion. Do you think the world will ever get back to quote unquote normal, or do you think the world is forever changed?
I think it is forever changed, but I think we're back to a somewhat normal.
I that yeah, the new normal, so to speak.
Yeah,
I think that
like
yeah, you were saying, sorry, I interrupted you.
like masks aren't really a huge deal. There's social distancing really isn't a big deal, even though people still have signs on it. It's like, you forgot to take that down 2 years ago.
That's true. And also, here's the thing. Masks wouldn't have been a problem if they were made to not be annoying to wear.
Uh huh.
Like they were like, here, we've got to force you to wear these masks, even if you don't want to, and then they hand you the most uncomfortable looking and feeling mask ever made.
And they don't actually really do anything.
That's true. Like if that's true. Like they actually have scientific evidence that said that masks only help like 10% of the time or less.
Yeah,
So at this point, they should, if masks were going to be as big of an issue, what I would do, if I could go back in time, is I'd go back, well, for one thing, I'd go back to prevent this in the first place. But if I couldn't prevent it, I would have somebody create a mask that does not suck.
you
You know?
said it on me. No,
Hey,
I'm just
wait, no, not like that, not like that. But yeah, no, like I think that masks were uncomfortable. Like if we had a this let me tell you about my perfect mask. So my
it's garbage.
no. Well, the masks that exist are garbage, yes. But let me tell you about like the mask that I would be like almost happy to wear, essentially. So my perfect mask design would be a mask that clips around the back of your head, so not on your ears, because you know how uncomfortable those things are.
Yeah.
My perfect mask design would be clips around the back of your head with probably like a soft silk or cotton strap that goes all the way around the back that's easy to wear, that doesn't pull on your ears. And instead of being right up against your face, it's about like maybe 2 inches away from your mouth. And there's
Hmm.
a little fan built in that blows air in when you breathe in and then blows air out when you breathe out and keeps everything cool instead of whatever the frick these like N95 like N95 masks are effective, but they're so uncomfortable to wear. Like if you ever worn probably like for cars car work, you've probably have to frick, I just had a seizure.
Well, you did. Holy cow.
You
Just, hey, yeah,
you
hey,
uh,
hey,
uh,
Mayor.
uh, yeah, but sorry, what I was trying to say is you probably
You're a mom.
had to have worn a mask at one point or another for car maintenance for like whatever, not just COVID, but like there's probably certain jobs when it comes to cars where wearing a mask is kind of required if you want to breathe.
Yeah.
So, like, tell us about. Actually, that should be the next topic. Nathan went to college for what exactly did you go to college for? Like, I said
Automotive.
automotive, but like specific, just like general overall everything, or like what
Yeah.
specifically?
General overall.
Okay, so you didn't specialize in anything, you just general overall.
Yeah, just general.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how how that works. So, what exactly would this training prepare? So say somebody wants to take this class what would they expect out of the class, and what would they be qualified to do afterwards?
Do I have a couple of things to say about that?
Okay, please do.
So one thing, Ohio sucks.
Okay,
Two, people there drive terribly.
okay,
Three, the people there, all they want to do is flip you off. Four,
okay,
the people there suck.
okay. I think you
Five,
said that already, but
nothing to do.
okay.
I'm just trying to emphasize it.
So, for
Uh,
context, you went to which
Six,
school?
nothing to do. I went to
I think you said that.
Lima, Ohio, University of Northwestern Ohio.
So, you say there's nothing there to do, and you also mentioned that there was nothing to do there.
Yeah, and
Um,
there's also nothing to do.
yes, and I think you also said that there was nothing to do.
Yeah, I think I said that.
But also you said that there was nothing to do. Uh,
Yeah, there's nothing to do.
with the side of there's nothing to do. Uh,
Exactly.
so why did you go there in the first place, Nathan? If you did you know that it was going to be that
Uh,
boring? Or?
because they're really good at tricking people as into like it's the best college ever. But
So
it's mainly because the price was good.
that's right. So if you were to have like walk up to your younger self, would you say go ahead with it, or would you walk up to your younger self, slap you in the face, take your lunch money, and say go to a different school?
I would go over, slap myself, and be like, "That was a good idea at the time. Might as well go through it, but don't do it again."
That made no sense whatsoever, Nathan. What in
Doesn't
the
have
frick
to
did you
do. When do I
just?
ever make sense?
That is true.
Gibberish.
That is true. But
I speak gibberish.
so what you're saying is that you
I
would
love
have.
Twinkies. I love biscuits. I hate no.
Whoa, we don't want to go there on the podcast. Get canceled on the third episode. uh, but no, it's essentially. So what you're saying is that you would have what prevented yourself from going, or you would have just allowed your
I would
younger
have
self to go.
said, I would have allowed myself, but like, don't do it again if you had to.
Right. Okay. Good.
So like,
Nathan's very distracted in this episode. He's yawning.
I'm tired.
Same.
I'm tired.
You good? Well, oh, well, you good? You good? You good? Nathan just went retarded there for a second. Oh, sorry, I can't say that word.
Did I? Oh,
Um,
get your
hum,
butt back here.
hum,
Excuse me.
hum. Anyway, let's see. We're closing in on 23 minutes here. So longest podcast episode. We want we wanted we wanted to make these podcast episodes around around 30 minutes or so. So, Nathan, be professional. For frick's sake. Frick's sake, Nathan. Did you just lose your mind entirely? I think the answer is yes. Let's pick one last topic to finish the episode off on.
Your mom. No,
Uh, be professional, Nathan. Come on. Uh,
this is professional. It's called professional retards.
I mean, that's what the show used to be called, but it's not that anymore, unfortunately. People,
We can still call it that, just not the actual name, like the secret name.
the secret name for the podcast. Yes, I did a YouTube short that I uploaded and told them what the name of the podcast is, and apparently, about 16 to 1 said that they disliked the title, so we had to change it to the Gen Z Sanctum, which, unfortunate. Professional retard sounds so much more hilarious. But
And it actually describes us correctly.
yeah,
But whatever.
it does describe our relationship rather well, I will say. But for this, um, for the sake of the podcast
For the
continuing,
sake of sanity.
for the sake of what little sanity we have left, um, We're going with Gen Z Sanctum just to be safe. From woke people that say, "Oh, you can't say the R word." I don't care. But
Oh boy.
so let's see. Cool. 25 minutes. Would it be safe to say that we can end this episode here, or should we try to go the full
Yeah.
30 minutes?
Well, we can stop here. It's our first episode. So you have gotten a little taste into how ridiculous we can be, how stupid I can be.
And how
So
professional I can be when you're being
have
stupid.
a good day. Have a good night.
I
Bye.
suppose. Tune in next time, folks.